Hello, everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, the new high concept action adventure comedy film from Gore Verbinski. And this film stars Sam Rockwell, Juno Temple, Lu Richardson, Zazie Beetz, Michael Peña, an ensemble cast. And this is one of my and highly anticipated films of the year. I was super excited for this film because I'm a huge fan of Gore Verbinski, going back to The Ring and the Pirate of the Caribbean films, just to name a few. Huge fan of his work. He is a interesting filmmaker, very unhinged and weird, and just has an eye for uh, I don't know, man, just visually stunning filmmaking. So you give him something like this to work with, where he just takes the cuffs off. I'm all on board. I was looking forward to this going into this year. The concept for Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. A man from the future arrives at a diner in Los Angeles where he must recruit a combination of disgruntled patrons to join him on a one night quest to save the world from a threat of a rogue artificial intelligence. What drew me to this movie was the fact that I knew nothing about it. It just, going by the promotional material, it just looked crazy. It just looked like it was something you had to get loaded to watch. And I don't even do that. So I was all on board with it. I went into this just brain turned off. I wasn't looking for anything deep and philosophical. I was just looking for a fun time. I mean, it's in the title. And so I'm looking for a fun time in the theater. And I got that. I got a really fun movie, a really good movie with a message at its core, a really strong message at its core, poignant, if you will. And wasn't expecting that. It even had some heartfelt moments, especially at the end of the film, that I really, really appreciated. Uh, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die kind of take beats from everything everywhere all at once, the Academy Award winning film from a couple of years ago, and just injects it with some insanity and an AI subplot that gives it a extra oomph, you know. Let's start with the stars of this film. Let's go with Sam Rockwell, who loves Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell brings an energy to projects that, quite frankly, don't deserve his energy. Sam Rockwell is probably one of the most slept on actors working today. I love Sam Rockwell because you know what you're going to get with Sam Rockwell. You're not going to get uh, a, a Shakespearean trained thespian that's adds gravitas to every line that he speaks, but he does at the same time with his own flair. He's an Academy Award winner in his own right. And so he is an accomplished actor, but let's not get it mistaken. I've seen him mail in some performances too. Argyle, just a couple, what, that was last year? The most forgettable movie of all time. He mailed in that performance. He also that Poltergeist remake. You could tell every second he was on screen, he did not want to be in that movie. And so he has mailed in some performances. Now this could have easily been a paycheck movie as well, but Sam Rockwell gave a really good performance here. He literally carried this movie from beginning to end, and you can tell he was having fun with it. And this was a role just tailor made for Sam Rockwell. If you're a Sam Rockwell fan and you like his kind of manic energy that he brings to the table, this is the film for you. He definitely fits perfectly in this movie. in this role, and I think he had probably one of the best times making a movie. Now, it probably come out years later in his biographical film or book, that he hated every minute of this movie. I don't know, but for me, walking away from it, it looked like he had the time of his life making this movie, and I had the time of my life watching him perform in this film. Uh, Haley Lou Robertson, who I've only seen in a couple of things lately, loved her in this. I think she has a major role, which she does. She has a major role, which I'm not gonna spoil for those of you who haven't seen it, but it is weird because she matches that energy, but with a different tone. It's like she's the yin to Sam Rockwell's yang, and they bounce real well off of one another. Also, Juno Temple, she bounces well off of them as well because she's more of the subtle, uh, more of the grounded character out of all of this madness that's going on around us in this film. The ensemble as a whole is real good. Everybody that they cast in this role, in their particular roles, were good. Zazie Beetz and Michael Peña were great in their roles, especially Michael Peña. Michael Peña, um, who lately has kind of taken a downward spiral a little bit, to be honest, in my humble opinion. Michael Peña was on a trajectory to be, shoot to the moon at one point in his career, and then all of a sudden it just plummeted. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the roles he picked or the projects that he decided to scrap himself onto, but they haven't worked. But this was really good. This reminded me of the Michael Peña that I enjoyed in Ant-Man, where he basically stole the movie from Paul Rudd. He literally stole that movie, to the point where when we got to Ant-Man 3, Quantum Mania, and his absence was felt in that movie. The fact that he wasn't in that film, you felt his absence. It's to that level. Now, it's not the same character. It's not even close to the same character that he's playing in this film, but he brought a performance that arguably almost stole this movie away from Sam Rockwell. But to be honest with you, all of the characters in this film, with the exception of maybe one or two that was in this little group, they all had a major role to play, and it was balanced fairly well throughout the film. With that being said, the movie does have problems. The movie, I would say towards the middle of the movie, it was a little uneven. The pacing was a little off. Uh, the flashbacks, I don't know, the flashbacks were a little uneven throughout when we go back and forth telling this story, telling a little backstory for this character, that character, and how we arrived at this point in the diner. It was a little uneven, and you got to a point where you kind of wanted the movie to kind of just hit the gas a little bit. I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? you know, we didn't need this little explanation here or there. It was those moments, because the movie is well over 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours and 15 minutes, something like that. It didn't need to be that long. Now, it wasn't boring by no stretch. It didn't get boring, but I felt like, for story purposes, to keep you engaged, it kind of lost you in moments. And uh that's a problem that could have easily been corrected in editing. I understand you're shooting that in the day, but when you get to the editing room, you can trim some of this stuff down and kind of move the movie a little quicker along. The ending, even though it was a quote unquote satisfying ending, it was so much going on at the end. Just too much going on at the end. It was like, I understand all hell broke loose, but it was like, where is this coming from? And it's, I understand the concept of the film. It set it up, so it really wasn't like a oh, what's going on here type situation, because you kind of knew, because it was explained that all of this wackiness and craziness was going to happen. But it was just too much. And some of the things that were happened from stemming from a conversation that took place where nobody should have known. It was only this group that was having this conversation. So how did the AI know about this stuff? And that wasn't explained. And I was wondering, like, what is happening? And then when we got this mob at the end, once again, I'm trying to tiptoe around this without spoiling. This mob at the end that was set up in early on in the film, it wasn't explained until the end of the film by this couple that could have easily explained that this is going on. It's weird. It was just weird that they kept that to themselves after everything that was going on, and they didn't find the time to say, hey, you know, something happened to us, early on. It was just dumb for them to keep that. Why are you keeping this a secret? It was stupid, to whereas they couldn't prepare for what was coming at them. It was those little moments like that kind of threw me off. But it was a satisfying ending. You had a little twist at the end that I saw coming, but I didn't see coming, if that makes any sense. I knew that this twist was coming, but I didn't know where the twist was coming from. And so it caught me off guard. I know others who probably seen the film or will see the film, will see it coming from a mile away, like, oh, Kevin's an idiot. Yeah, you're not wrong, but I'm just giving my humble opinion. It kind of caught me off guard, but it didn't catch me off guard at the same time. But with that being said, I liked the little twist that they had. It was satisfying, that little twist that they had. With all that being said, with the problems I had with it, that I just listed, the positives, I loved Sam Rockwell. I loved the cast as a whole. Nobody was miscast here. I think everybody a part of this cast was perfectly cast. Gore Verbinski's direction was really good. The pacing was a little off, but I wasn't bored throughout the viewing of this film. Overall, I give Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die a letter grade of a B-. Yeah, I had a good time with it. It was a fun time. A very topical message at its core that we all need to pay attention to. And it lived up to the title. It lived up to the title. The good luck came at the beginning. The good luck came when you bought the ticket. Have fun is when you sat down, and don't die is what you say when you leave out the theater. And so I didn't die. I had fun, and luckily this was a good movie. I would love to know your thoughts about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Did you enjoy it, or did you think this was weird and crazy and you checked out in the first 5 minutes? I would love to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.